how I feel Miguel's story should go in Tekken 8, if he's going to be in the game, of course. This is going to be just a different video, a concept video, both in the type of video and also the artwork. So what you have essentially is a guy who was kicked out of his house at a young age, maybe in his early 20s, maybe 30, anywhere between 30 and 33. He's going to be aged up to that degree. So he's been going from place to place. Maybe he's been homeless for a time, living in his car. And so he's maybe been living in there for a while, but I feel like eventually he found a good spot with moving in with his uncle, even though this is supposed to be temporary. But maybe Miguel, you know, he's trying to restart his life and get over the trauma of what happened with his sister. So he moved in with a preferred uncle, and through this uncle or extended family member, he was able to channel all that anger and aggression into a more positive use. And so he ended up joining the military, maybe the Spanish military. He is a Spanish man. And so he joined the military, and he was there for a couple years. Pretty much throughout the rest of his late 20s, he was in the military. And that's kind of why I drew a dog tag next to his signature blue crystal that he wears. But unfortunately, Miguel's antics and his traits reared his ugly head again, especially when maybe they were doing an operation. Let's just say he's not special forces, but just infantry, you know? And let's just say he was doing an operation against maybe some terrorists, and it turns out that the group he's working for, or maybe the Spanish military, has dealings with the Mishima Zaibatsu, or maybe they were involved in something similar to what happened with his sister, some airstrike that killed innocent civilians. And so Miguel, having recently trying to stray away from the path of retribution, he found himself being angered again at the overreach of Jin Kazama's company. And keep in mind that these events happening all in the span between T6 and T8. During this time, it was definitely known that Jin was in control of the Mishima Zaibatsu, and you know, Miguel, like I said, he was trying not to think about that and trying to turn over a new leaf and get his image back and become a better man so that he can meet his parents again. Maybe his mom and dad, they cut off contact with him. He's been a ruffian who's not been an ideal son. So realizing that, hey, he still has family left. Now he's trying to cherish that more. And so to him, getting into the military is more of an image correction so that he can contact his parents again, so that they'll let him back into their life, you know? And so, like I said, the events in terms of the Spanish military and their dealings with the Mishima Zaibatsu, he became more aggravated. He was questioning the higher ups more. And maybe there was an event to where he maybe even lashed out or struck a commanding officer or a higher up, which caused him to be the equivalent of being court-martialed if you're in like the US military. So because of this, he left the military. So after he's kicked out of the military, instead of retreating back to his old ways of being a savage drunk, so the knowledge he gained from being in the military, he's now using to create a security task force in order to provide security for key politicians that are against the Mishima Zaibatsu. That through politics and voting and legislative changes, these politicians plan to limit the power or completely disband the Mishima Zaibatsu, maybe by exposing insider trading, by exposing money laundering, by exposing corruption. At the legal level, they plan to significantly impede the Mishima Zaibatsu. And so obviously a politician like this going against a multi-billion dollar franchise or company like the Mishima Zaibatsu, you can imagine that they have a target on their back. You know, they're the type of politician to have an accidental death, you know, and anybody who's involved or any eyewitnesses will either be paid off or something will mysteriously happen to them too. And so this is where Miguel's mercenary Miguel's security group comes in, to where, if you know, in Tekken 6, he was part of a group called the Resistance. And this was apparently a ragtag group of resistance fighters who opposed the Mishima Zaibatsu and possibly the G Corporation. I don't think it was actually defined, but definitely the Mishima Zaibatsu. And you can see this if you play Scenario Campaign on Tekken 6. You can see that he was part of this group, even though it wasn't clear if he was a leader, but he was a part of this group, and they were very poorly funded, and it was kind of like they weren't in the big leagues, let's say that. And this is shown by Elisa's logs, to where it says their capabilities appear to be lacking. And also Raven claimed that they're not much to look at. So he was part of a resistance group, but again, they were poorly funded, they weren't organized, and it was little leagues essentially. And so in this case, he has his own security force, and they are very organized. They are, because he's also using the experience from being in the resistance group and the experience of being in the military, to where they're actually a well-oiled machine. They have members who protect various security risks, and they get paid well to administer their services. And so because of this, he has military boots, he has military styled pants, and I want to give him some flavor, some nod to his Tekken 7 outfit, so I used the same designs in the coat, except I just ripped it to the right, to his right arm, just to kind of give him more of a rough look. He has a bandana, which I also wanted to include that, because you know Brian Fury's a mercenary. And so I feel like during this time, which is again a number of years in the future, Miguel has his stuff together. He has a security force who he also hires mercenaries and people who have war experience. And so he has Brian Fury under his, so he's an agent under his company. So he has the brass knuckles, the skulls. He has the undershirt, which is the same shirt that he wore when during Scenario Campaign when he's found in the Resistance at the warehouse docks. He has longer hair because he's no longer in the military, so he can grow it out, and time has passed. And he has a headband just to give him more of a fighter type of look. I wanted him to have a bullet belt, kind of the brown belt you see on his chest, but obviously the coat is covering it, but I would have gave him like bullets or a grenade or some ammo, just to kind of make him look like more of a mercenary, you know? And here, even though it's poorly drawn, you see he has a radio to talk to his members in terms of where they should be placed during conferences, during political meetings and stuff like that. So yeah, that's my concept of Miguel in Tekken 8. Just using the ideas based on who he was in the past and what he was a part of in order to give my kind of concept of this guy. And if he's in Tekken 8, that'd be cool. If not, it is what it is. I still have fun doing it. So let me know what you think. Do you want to see more of this? Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.